Hi everyone, welcome to the podcast Back to Self. It's a therapeutic podcast where you will find ways to understand yourself better and to help you lead healthier and more balanced life. I'm your host, Sylvia Koshena. Today we will dive into the topic that affects all of us. Whether you realize it or not, it is a huge component to our well-being. Today, we'll talk about self-regulation and emotional suppression. Did you ever ask yourself how your emotional state is impacting your well-being and your mental health? Our emotions impact us every single day. So, for example, have you ever found yourself holding back tears in a very stressful situation? Did you ever felt like you suppressed your emotions even though you were deep down very upset? Did you ever found yourself that you outburst your anger on someone for no reason, only to find out that you have unprocessed anger? Have you ever found yourself running away from sadness? You wouldn't allow yourself to feel sad in case you won't be able to get out of there because it's uncomfortable, because it would feel like it's too much and people won't handle it. You won't handle it. These are just simple everyday examples of how suppressed emotions can really affect our well-being and how we are every single day. So today we will cover the topic of emotions. We will look at self-regulation. We will look at emotional suppression. And then I will give you tips at the very end. What can you do to start paying more attention to your emotions, even how to understand and how to think about your emotions? I will give you tools to practice how to deal with your emotions, that you won't feel like you have to run away from it, that will help you regulate rather than suppress. So let's start right from the very, very beginning. What are emotions? Every single human has emotions. We have it, we live with it, but so many of us don't understand it. So many of us feel even ashamed for feeling certain emotions. We run away from it, we don't understand it, we just do everything not to feel any uncomfortable emotions. But if we would look at emotions, what are they? What is the purpose of having emotions? Emotions are nothing more and nothing less than signals. They are your messengers from your subconscious mind. They are linking your inner world with external world. They try to help you understand what is really going on, what is really happening. Emotions and your senses are helping us understand world, understand ourselves. And if we don't use emotions productively to help us, that will become something that we would treat as an enemy. We won't like it, we will run away from it because we just simply don't know what to do with it. It's like driving a car. Your life is your car. You got to sit on the driver's seat. You have to drive it. And your emotions is like the warning lights on a car dashboard. What happens if you would ignore it? If you're going to ignore the warning light, you know something is going to break down and you won't be able to use your car anymore. What do we do when the warning light show up in our car? We take care of it. We try to find out the source. What's happening? What's going on? Where is the problem? And then we fix the problem. We look after our car. We will take it to mechanic. We will try to maybe fix it ourselves if we have the skills or the knowledge. So we would look after that. But what happens if that warning light, so our emotion, shows up in our body? When we recognize it, what do? Usually we suppress it. We suppress it because it's uncomfortable. We suppress it because there is a fear that people around us won't like it. We suppress it because we don't feel comfortable feeling it. We don't understand it. And by all means, we can't show our emotions to outer world. because what if they will reject us? What if they won't like us? What if we will make them uncomfortable? We treat our emotions like it's our enemy. We treat our emotions like this is something completely unnecessary. We are confused why we have so many emotions. Why do we have to feel all of this? It's better that we don't feel anything and we just get on with life. Life meant to be so simple. Go to work, do your task, take responsibility for your kids, cook dinner, eat. Don't think about your emotions. Don't think about what's working, what's not working. We are running away from ourselves when we do that. Because our emotions, our internal GPS, it's a messenger to tell you, to communicate with you. This is warning. Something isn't right. Maybe someone disrespects us. Maybe this isn't safe. Maybe you have to look at this relationship. Is it still working? Maybe it's not. But we constantly trying to ignore how we feel. And when we do that, we don't really feel like we take ownership of our life. We don't really feel in control. Instead, we allow life happening to us, but because we're too busy suppressing and not feeling. We're too busy to avoid the truth, and the truth lies in your emotions. The truth is part of your emotions. What is really going on? We see emotions as either something good or something bad. If we feel emotions makes us uncomfortable, we call them that they're bad emotions. If emotions are safe and it's socially acceptable, then they're good. But the fact is that emotions are neither good or bad. In fact, thinking like that emotions are good or bad, this is childlike thinking. This is very simplified way of looking at your emotions. And if you do feel or think that emotions are either good or bad, this is your sign that you do need to work on self-regulation and to understand your emotions. If you really want to feel happy and if you want to feel the balance in your life and start, really working on your well-being, you're listening to this podcast, so that means you are looking for this. You want balance in your life. So this is going to be this is our third episode. So this is going to be your third step, to look actually inside you and start to being curious about your relationship with yourself. That's one thing. But start looking at your emotions as messengers. What is my body telling me? When we think that emotions are good or bad, it causes a problem for us because we are not curious then about ourselves and we're not curious about our emotions. Why do we have them? What is going on? What does this message is trying to tell me? Instead, if something is bad, we try to avoid it. We run away from it. We put it on the shelf. Oh, down. We don't want to feel it. We don't want to understand this. When we do that, when we only focusing on the good emotions, all what we really want is to either feel happy or feel grateful. And when we're noticing that we're not feeling happy or we're not feeling grateful, we questioning ourselves. We reject, in a sense, we actually rejecting ourselves, thinking that, okay, if I don't feel happy, then there's something wrong with me. Then I'm not good enough. People won't accept me. Oh my God, I can't feel other thing than being happy. You're rejecting yourself when you don't allow yourself to feel more than just happiness or gratitude. And this form of good emotions, bad emotions, I can only be happy, I can only accept myself and be with myself if I feel grateful and if I'm so content with being happy. If we do that, this disconnects us from life. This disconnects us from our story, from yourself, because then the relationship that you're building with yourself is very much conditional. It's very much based on if I feel happy, if I feel gratitude, only then I can feel good enough, only then I can accept myself. So the relationship with yourself is very much conditioned, but the reality is emotions are energy, and energy flows. It's not stagnant. It doesn't stay. It can't stay in the same place for all of the time. It needs to flow. It needs to move through us. So realistically speaking, it's not possible for us to feel happy 24/7. It's something that we can't do because different situations, life is happening all the time, life is moving. If you're going to feel and expect yourself to feel happy all the time, immediately you will feel disappointed with yourself. Immediately you will feel you're not good enough. Again, this will affect the relationship you have with yourself. On top of that, life is constantly moving forward. You're constantly meeting other people. You're constantly engaging in different conversations. You're engaging in different activities that it will trigger some kind of emotions in you. So for you to expect that you're going to be happy and grateful all of the time, it will only lead you to more disappointment and more hurt that you would feel then you have to suppress. So in reality, what is really happening for you, you are like in a hamster wheel, chasing for something that is never going to happen, chasing something that is not meant to be ever. You can't really understand yourself when you're constantly avoiding yourself. Having said that, doesn't mean you don't notice different emotions than happiness or gratitude. Of course you do. You do notice your sadness, irritation, frustration, anger, disappointment, shame, guilt. Of course you do notice them. But because they make you so uncomfortable, you believe you can't feel them for more than 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Because if you're going to be sad for more than 10 minutes, oh my God, what is wrong with me? Am I having depression? Am I ill? No, like this is, oh my God, no one can know that I feel sad right now. No one can know I feel upset. Oh my God, I'm upset. This is really weak. I can't do that. I can't feel sad. I can't be upset. I'm weak. Who am I? Oh my God. Oh, I don't like myself. If I'm angry, I'm a bad person. I can't be angry. So people won't accept me. It's not socially acceptable to be angry all the time. I can't be. People will not want to be around me. I really can't feel anger right now. I feel irritated. Something isn't right. Pretend it's fine. It'll be fine. Okay, never mind. Let's just pretend. Put on smiley face. It will be fine. Doesn't really matter. With your reactions like this builds more and more different types of emotions. You're actually feeding the wound inside you, the wound of rejection, the fear of being rejected, fear of being abandoned, the wound of injustice. All of this really creates more and more wounds inside you that you already have. Because when you're constantly afraid of living, if you're constantly being afraid of being you, the only way you can be you fully, back to the self, back to your authentic self, is through your emotions. So rather than judging yourself, because when you're rejecting your emotions, when you're suppressing your emotions, you're rejecting yourself. With your self-rejection, there is disconnection from your body. You are becoming very demanding of yourself. You're feeling that you need to be certain way. So the self-concept, your acceptance towards yourself is very much conditioned. There's no self-love. There's no self-gratitude. There's no self-appreciation. You're just treating yourself like you don't matter. You're judging, you're very judgmental of yourself, and yet deep down you're actually afraid that people will judge you. You're rejecting yourself, but you're afraid that others will reject you. And this is really what we talked about during our last episode, because that just links with how our childhood is shaping ourselves and how we live our fears every single day. Something that we have experienced, we have suppressed. Something that we have feel that was uncomfortable, we suppressed. And we, every single day, we live like this. We suppressing, not really paying attention to ourselves. And then we look in the mirror. If we do look into the mirror, we're looking and like, who is this person? I don't even know. I don't even like you. Why are you there? Why can't you be just perfect? Why can't you be just flawless? How many of you is actually thinking of yourself this way? Because we either avoid the mirror, we don't even look, we don't even want to think who we are, we don't even want to know what we look like or how we feel with ourselves, or we really judgmental, criticizing ourselves. We really feel almost kind of disgust when we look in the mirror, when we look at ourselves. None of those reconnects you with yourself. There is you, yourself, in between this. Like, oh my god, where will I go here? No wonder you're lost. But this brings us somewhere else, back to your beginning, back to where you lost the self, where we really need to look at your experiences in your childhood. Because as children, we don't have the capacity to self-regulate. We don't understand our emotions. And we need adults to show us, to normalize our emotions. We need adults to help us understand what is going on inside us so we can internalize it, we can normalize it, and then we can make sense of it and use it constructively. That it will help us rather than using it as a self-destruction. Unfortunately, majority of kids were raised by children, really, adults who were really not able to self-regulate. And that has its consequences in our adulthood today. Because if as children we have felt everything that we adults feel today, but we have learned that when we're sad, mom is getting upset. When we're angry, we're getting punished. We're gonna get a slap, you're gonna be sent to the room. It's not acceptable. Parents are withdrawing the love when we're showing emotions, when we are becoming very real. Our parents, they don't have the capacity to hold that in them for us. They don't have the capacity to feel and stay with our anger. Instead, we're triggering them. And as children, we feel, oh my God, there must be something wrong with me. Anger is bad. And if I'm angry, I'm bad because that then stops loving me. If I will be sad, then I'm worrying my mother. I can't add more anxiety. I can't add more worries to her. So I can't show her that I'm upset. I can't show her that I'm sad. When I'm sad, maybe a mother was dismissing you. Maybe there was a judgment. Stop crying, or I will give you something to cry about. Don't be so upset. Some other people have it worse. It's not a big deal what you cry about. Get yourself together. Oh my God, like what others will think of you if they see you in this state. Pull yourself together. How many of you heard stuff like this? Phrases like this? And I'm sure there's many, many more. And if you would like, you can share them in your comments or you can message me. We have heard all of those stigmas loads of times. And they are stuck. They're stuck in our mind. We remember them. But maybe we don't remember exactly the faces, but we remember how we felt when we heard them. Because every time when we heard something like this, shame showed up, guilt showed up, rejection showed up. And all of that was nicely covered with fear. Fear from all of this. What we have learned in our childhood is that if we're going to show our emotions, our safety is at danger. Because as children, all what we really need someone to love us. This is how we understand our safety. And safety is our basic need. We need to feel safe to thrive. We need to feel safe if we want to explore the world. We need to feel safe if we want to explore ourselves. But when we are authentic, when we are showing our emotions, but our emotions are not accepted by our parents, what do? We reject ourselves instead. We disconnect ourselves from emotions because we have a choice. Stay authentic, feel what we want to feel, and to live as we are, or receive the love and safety from our parents. So, what do you think each child would choose? What you have chosen? What I have chosen? Always love and safety. We reject ourselves. We reject our authentic self. And yet we believe that if we would feel those emotions, they're bad. We are bad. And this shapes our self-concept as well. Self-concept is how we view ourselves. And we view ourselves through our experiences. The self-concept is based on how we view ourselves. Self-concept is based on how others view us. Self-concept is how we perceive ourselves. But that perception is based on our experiences, our feelings, and how we link external world to our internal world. And if the value between the two of them, so external world and internal world, if this is the same, our self-worth grows, thrives. We feel worthy. If, however, our experiences and what we might felt are not congruent, they're not the same, we let go of our feelings and we concentrating on the external world because again we're looking for safety. So it's no longer what I want, no longer what I feel, no longer what I need, no longer what I would love. It's more what they need me to be so I can feel safe. It's more about who do I need to be to please them so I can feel accepted. Who do I need to be for them so I can somehow feel loved. It's no longer about you. It's now about them. And when I say them, it's parents, teachers, society, friends. Then it goes with your coworkers, with your boss, with your partner. Who do you really need to be for them? Let's go back. Let's go back to yourself. Let's go back to your inner child. Let's go back to your experiences. What kind of self-concept do you hold about yourself? Based on those experiences, the self-concept is very much conditioned. Your worth is conditioned. And it's no longer who I want to be, who am I? It's more about who should I be? Who do I need to be? What do I have to do? What I must? No room for I can, I choose to, no room for I am. When there's no room for I am, I can, I choose, I should is always in the survival. We're surviving life. I have to be certain ways for them to accept me. It's a survival. When you don't pay attention to your emotions, you're just going with the flow. It's a survival. Because there is no time to be, whew, I can just be, and I don't care. I love myself the way I am. I can accept myself. We don't do that. We're constantly looking back. We're constantly on edge. We're constantly under pressure. We should be doing something. Otherwise, I'm not good enough. So you can see how our childhood experiences really are affecting us. And self-regulation is not about ignoring how you feel, ignoring your emotions. It's not about denying them. It's about allowing yourself to acknowledge them and then be curious about understanding them. Asking yourself, why am I feeling like this? What is really happening? What's underneath this? What am I trying to mask? So rather than being very judgmental of yourself, you're becoming more curious about, okay, I see you, I see myself, I see this emotion. What is this emotion trying to tell me? On the other hand, self-regulation also needs to be self-regulation is about managing our emotions that is actually aligned with our values, with our goals, with our well-being, with who we are. So it's not about suppressing and pretending it's not there. It's more about accepting our emotions and then use them as the messenger. Because when we can acknowledge our emotions, only then we can actually constructively respond to them. We can only then act like a parent for ourselves regarding our emotions. So it's really about healing the damage that was done to us. And yet, this is not about blaming, this is not about pointing fingers. Don't go there. Come back to yourself and ask yourself, what do you need? What do you need right now from yourself while you feel sad, while you feel angry? What can you do for yourself that you will feel visible for yourself and that will promote safety while you actually feel sad, upset, or angry? So rather than rejecting yourself, you're teaching yourself to accept yourself in a way that you never experienced. So it's normal that at the beginning this might feel like, oh my God, what this is. This feels superficial maybe, this feels not natural. Absolutely, it's okay. Even if you feel like this is superficial, even if it feels not real or like fake, deep down you're going to feel this way because it makes you uncomfortable. This is very unknown to you. So the new approach at the beginning is going to be new. You're stepping into new territory. Allow yourself. Explore this. What's this is about? Why am I uncomfortable? Maybe there is fear. Maybe there are old wounds. Maybe there's a truth that you never had the courage, the space to even say it to yourself. Just remember to be nice, kind, and understanding towards yourself. Another very important thing that I want you to remember about emotions is that when we suppress our emotions, that doesn't mean they go somewhere or they disappear. As Freud would say, that suppressed emotions, they go down, they sit for a while, but they always come back in much uglier form. So suppressed emotions will manifest in your life in different ways. So for example, one of them could be emotional outbursts, when we feel we keep suppressing, and then all of a sudden something might happen, something small, we might get triggered, and then we're out. When the outburst happens, usually this one person gets all of the baggage that you were carrying onto one. So we could actually say that your response to the situation is never adequate. The proportion between what happened and what annoyed you to your response, it's not the same. They don't align. But you have suppressed so much that that one situation, that one person that triggered you actually busted the bubble, and all of your emotions really came out. And usually that makes you even surprised, like, oh my god, like, where is this coming from? Why am I reacting so much to something so small? It's because you have been suppressing your emotions for such a long time. Another way your suppressed emotions can manifest is in physical symptoms. Having physical symptoms such as digestive problems, back problems, chronic illnesses, fatigue, skin problems. All of that is closely linked to your mental state. We would call it psychosomatic symptoms, but they are very much closely linked to your emotions, your stress level, and all of that will actually show up in your physical body. Suppressed emotions will also impact your relationships, because when you don't show your emotions, when you're not honest with your emotions, because as we discussed today, for many reasons, it will build resentment. It will make you feel like you're misunderstood. Also, it will lead to different conflicts. And rather than coming together and talk about this in a safe environment, you will be pulling away from your partner. You'll be pulling away from people because you will not know how to be with them, showing them your emotions when you can't even sit with your emotions. There will be fear that they will reject you. So you will try to mask it. So there's a risk of you building relationships that might feel very superficial, not very deep. It's like you're going to have only great relationships when everything is great, when you're happy. But when the minute you start to feel some emotions that are uncomfortable, you will try to hide it from your partner. You will try to hide it from your friends. And then that actually might feel almost fake. It will feel like you can't be yourself. And then you will resent. You will resent them. Another thing that you could actually do is a silent treatment. You can actually, don't talk to me, I don't want to talk to you. And there will be silence in the relationship. Again, that is not something that will build the relationship, that closeness, that intimacy. It will actually pull you apart. And lastly, of course, your emotions are, as I said, hugely connected to your mental health. So it will impact your mental health, and that could manifest in anxiety. It would manifest in depression, in OCD, on panic attacks, and burnouts, and many different ways as well. So think about it this way. You have a choice. Now you are aware, and you always have choice how you want to approach your emotions. You might actually want to challenge your beliefs about your emotions, because as a child, you had to accept what it was. As a child, you didn't have a choice to explore, because safety and love was more important than you being authentic. As an adult, you have that luxury of choice. You can choose to still think as you did when you were 5, or you can actually overcome your limiting beliefs about your emotions. You can start be curious about your emotions and creating a new truth for yourself. If sadness was not something that was acceptable, today you can change that, and you can accept yourself when you feel sad, and you don't have to give yourself 10-minute brackets so you can feel sad and then you have to reject yourself. You can actually feel sad for 3 days, and it doesn't mean you're depressed. It only means maybe this is something that you needed. Maybe this is something that needs to come out of you. As I said at the beginning, emotions are energy. They're in flow, they're always moving. Never any emotion will last. So you will feel the intensity of it, but after some time, they will go less and less. But the most important process in this is that for you not to be afraid of that. Stop being afraid of yourself. And this is how you're going to build slowly a beautiful trust between yourself and your body, between your mind and your body. You're going to reconnect your mind, body, and your spirit. As we're approaching the end of this episode, let me just give you a few tools that will help you recognize your emotions and will help you regulate your emotions. And the most important one is recognize your emotions. Recognize how you feel. Name them. Name your emotions. If it's fear, if it's anger, if it's sadness, if it's upset, if it's irritation, go there. Name it for yourself. And be curious about, why is this coming out? Why is it happening to me now? What do I remember? What is this triggering me? What does it try to tell me? When you're going to be curious and recognize it, you're creating connection between yourself and your body. So the second tool will be pause before you react. You might actually feel, I want to say so. Okay, I understand what's going on. What's happening for me? Or on the other hand, you might feel, it's fine, no, doesn't matter. No, actually, maybe it does matter. I'm getting irritated. Maybe I don't want to say, no, it's fine, it doesn't matter. Maybe I actually do want to say, you know what? I don't like the way you talk to me. So just give yourself that few minutes or few seconds just to pause before you respond. Another third tool, it would be find healthy outlets for your emotions. So that could be meditation, that could be journaling, that could be exercising, that could be sitting in silence for a few minutes and just to noticing how you feel and where is this emotion in your body, how does it show up, and just observe yourself as you feel those emotions. Maybe you need to practice also saying it out loud. I feel angry, I feel sad, I feel irritated, I don't like this. Just try to practice saying out loud your emotions. Own it. Fourth tool, express yourself honestly, openly. Just say what it is for you. And you can start with yourself because, as you know, childhood experience is the trauma that actually leads us to disconnect us from ourselves, from our authentic self. We forget how to be honest with ourselves. Emotional suppression is also a way of disconnection from ourselves. So even saying your emotions openly, saying how you feel, saying what do you want, who you are openly, can really help you building that self-trust, self-reliance, and will help you be more comfortable with being uncomfortable. So express yourself with honesty. Express yourself without being afraid that you're going to be judged. When you're going to be open and honest and you're going to give yourself permission to do it, even if someone would judge you, it wouldn't really matter for you because the most important person, which is you, didn't judge yourself. So the fifth tool, reframe your negative thoughts. So rather than saying to yourself, I should not feel sad, maybe what you really need to say is, I'm allowing myself to feel sad, or I can't be angry because this is just stupid. You can choose to say, my anger isn't stupid. It's actually trying to tell me something. What's underneath my anger? Is it frustration? Is it hurt? Is it fear? What is underneath my anger? So you can reframe. It's like you're going to have a conversation with yourself, like with your inner child, reparenting yourself. What is this about? And you can sit with those feelings. The sixth tool is try to communicate more assertively. So Practice assertiveness, setting boundaries. Become assertive in what you want, with what you feel, how you communicate yourself, your needs. Be assertive. Don't, will I not? Should I not? No. This is what I need. This is what I'm going to say. And in here, I allow myself just to remind you that you can actually get a free masterclass on how to set boundaries without guilt, without shame on my website. And you're going to find the link to that underneath. So if you would like to know how to set boundaries effectively, just go to the link below and you will access the masterclass for free. So you can see emotions are very important. They are needed. They are needed for us to navigate our life. They're helping us understand what's good for us, what's working for us, what is hurting us, what we're not willing to accept anymore, what we do want to accept, and what really makes us happy, what doesn't make us happy. Without emotions, we wouldn't be able to do that. We wouldn't be able to reconnect with ourselves. We wouldn't be able to navigate life. So rather than being afraid and avoiding, suppressing, be curious, be more understanding, be more open, and allow yourself. So give yourself permission to be. And this is how you're going to go back to yourself. Thank you very much for today, and I see you in next episode. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. It will help me hugely grow this channel. Thank you.